All right, let's take things out to radar. Let's get back to the weather here. As we've got some scattered areas of snow, some heavy rain, and some freezing drizzle as well. Pretty active view on Viper radar today as you see everything from the west coast to the central U.S. to the northeast. We've got some pretty active weather, even a chance for some severe thunderstorms into Iowa and Illinois. I see here around the I-80 corridor, cluster of some thunderstorms have gotten started, moving up towards the Cedar Rapids area. So Cedar Rapids, you're likely to see some heavy thunderstorms moving in here within the next half hour this afternoon. So by around 2:30, likely to see some active weather there. Now, there is still a chance for a tornado. There it is just right now. Just got a tornado warning issued for parts of, let's see here, this is into Iowa County, Benton County, and Johnson County until 2:30 this afternoon. And I want to see if we have the local radar site pulled into this area and get you some information on that. But whenever we have a tornado warning issued for our area, you always want to head to the lowest level of your home, the most interior room of your home. Doesn't look like we have that information at the moment, but this is going to be moving towards the Cedar Rapids area. So you're not within the warning Cedar Rapids, but you do want to be very aware of this storm moving through the Williamsburg area and starting to move towards Fairfax. So we'll continue to keep an eye on this storm as it develops. This whole region, though, is under a threat for severe weather through the day today. Take a look at the tornado threat right there in the middle of the northern end of that bubble. We've got that chance for tornadoes to possibly roll through. So you always want to be very cautious on days like today. Now, it is January. It's uncommon for us to see severe weather setups in January during this time of the year, but it has just been confirmed as on the ground at the moment. So that confirmed tornado warning, we highlight that in purple so that we can have an identifier with that. But this is something that will be continuing over the next several minutes here. Again, this is until 2:30 now for parts of Iowa County, Johnson County, and Benton County, moving up towards the Cedar Rapids area. So if you live anywhere in Linn County, you want to be very aware of this situation that is unfolding at the moment. I'm going to gather some more information for this storm from the National Weather Service and send things over to meteorologist Taban Sharifi. That's right, we're looking around the Cedar Rapids area. Linn County is not included within this tornado warning, but into Johnson County, Iowa County, and Benton County, we have a confirmed tornado warning right now. This is just outside of the Amana Colonies, so Highway 151. If you know anyone around that corridor, make sure that they are taking shelter immediately, as this is a confirmed tornado, and we've seen some data coming in. It looks like a little bit of bad data coming in at the moment, but we can take a look from the Des Moines radar site and also see with that the rotation within this thunderstorm. Again, we're getting some bad data in, it looks like, from the local radar sites. But if you're in this area here, again, Homestead, South Amana, around the Amana Colonies, if you live anywhere around that very popular tourist destination, make sure that you are seeking shelter at the lowest level of your home, most interior room of your home, or place of business or work. So we'll continue to bring you more information on this confirmed tornado throughout the hour. A confirmed tornado warning southwest of the Cedar Rapids area. We're looking in Iowa City. You are outside of the risk for this present tornado warning still, but if you're heading from Iowa City back up to Cedar Rapids, 380 there, you want to be very aware of this severe thunderstorm that is producing a tornado. This is moving into the Amana Colonies area, a very historic area, a popular tourist destination as well. Let's take a look from the velocities on this storm. At the moment, we don't see anything that stands out majorly, but previously we have had a little bit of bad data. That's the flash of orange here, some bad radar data coming in. But we can see we've got a very strong rotation earlier in this region, just outside of the Homestead area, where we've got this area of rotation fairly strong. In recent scans, it looks like it's weakened a little bit. We've seen the back edge of that tornado warning has been trimmed off a little as well. But I want to look at the correlation coefficient. This is what we use to see if we have debris within a thunderstorm. Sometimes you can't quite tell as if we don't have a lot of debris in the storm, which of course we don't want a lot of debris, but it doesn't look like anything stands out at the moment. But if you're in Homestead, Amana, South Amana, into any of the Amana Amana Colonies area around Highway 151, you need to be taking shelter immediately, as this is a confirmed tornado. This is moving to the northeast fairly quickly as well, so this could be making its way into Linn County, that's Cedar Rapids County, over the next little while. So we could see some impacts downwind from this thunderstorm coming through. And when I say thunderstorm, we do have plenty of lightning with it as well. Putting on the lightning counter, about 50 strikes or so within this view just in the last 10 minutes. So a fairly strong thunderstorm at the moment moving through the area. We'll clear that off so that we don't clutter the image up, but we could also see the chance for some hail within this thunderstorm. You see that pink core to the storm just outside of the South Amana area? That's likely moving to the city of Amana at the moment, where we could see the potential for some large hail in excess of 3/4 of an inch in diameter. So that could be getting close to the severe hail limits with that. But just over the last little while, we've seen some of the shear. We're looking at shear rate. That's the nature of the storm to spin. It has been increasing within this region, so we could see it continue to maintain that confirmed tornado tag on that thunderstorm presently. Looking back out on a broader view, though, we do have a cluster of some thunderstorms just to the northeast of that, but our concern is growing to the southwest from there as we head towards the Muscatine area, Davenport, Galesburg, Macomb, all of these areas under the threat for severe thunderstorms today, possibly bringing tornadoes into this whole region shaded in green, all the way out to Peoria even could see the chance for an isolated tornado. I'm going to gather some more information on this storm, and I want to bring in meteorologist Taban Sharifi on some of the forecast for this area. And this was a confirmed tornado just north of the Williamsburg area. This was a confirmed large tornado, as according to the report. Excuse me. So that observed tornado is now moving through the Amana to East Amana area. If you're anywhere downstream from here, around Walford into the Fairfax area, just south of Walford into any of the open farmland that's around here. This is a fairly rural area, but it's moving into a densely populated area in Linn County. That's the Cedar Rapids County area. So we still want to be very cautious about this thunderstorm because it could lead to damage as it moves through this area. Right now, it's crossing over the Highway 151 corridor. That's right here, this little dashed line you see that crosses through the Amana Colonies down to around Highway 6. So if you're south of Highway 6, pretty much in the clear now. There's still a chance for lightning, so you always want to be cautious with that. But we have seen the tornado risk has greatly diminished south of Homestead there. But if you live along Highway 30 up towards the Cedar Rapids area, you want to be very cautious as this confirmed tornado is moving towards the northeast very quickly. We'll have more details here on Weather Nation. A tornado warning is in progress west from Iowa City and southwest from Cedar Rapids, moving northeast to the Cedar Rapids area. We've got a view from Williamsburg, Iowa, right there along Interstate 80. This is where the storm previously was, or it was in the vicinity of Williamsburg, where it was confirmed as a large tornado on the ground at the moment. So I want to zoom in to this storm. Again, this is just to the southwest of Cedar Rapids, northeast from Williamsburg. And we actually saw a very decent amount of rotation with this previously. Now it looks like it's beginning to weaken a little bit, at least on the velocity signature. You can take a look at the velocity. You see right there, very bright blue colors next to the grays and reds here. That is a signature of strong rotation. And the thing is, this is over 4,000 feet, almost 5,000 feet above the ground. Tornadoes are very low-level structures, so whenever we see it that high in the storm, it's usually an indication of strong rotation and potentially that translating to the surface, which we did see. Now we've just been issued a new tornado warning, which does include Cedar Rapids. It's not confirmed at this point, but we could still see the chance for that to recycle and put down another tornado if it's no longer on the ground at the moment. So if you live anywhere around Interstate 380, south of the Robbins area, along Highway 30 between Grandview Village, not quite out to Mount Vernon, you're all within this tornado warning at the moment from Walford up towards Marion along Highway 151, I believe that is. You want to be seeking shelter. So anywhere around Fairfax, Coningsmark, Summit, Otis, Cedar Hills, Cedar Rapids, of course, within this warning. Very large population center here in eastern Iowa could be impacted by a tornado as it's moving through. At this moment, it looks like it's more of a straight line wind threat. Notice the curvature there of that hail core. That's what the bright pink to gray colors are. That's likely hail. We're starting to see sort of a bowing effect. So that means we've got strong winds coming in from the backside of this storm. And it looks like we've just had a new warning updated here. Notice that the pink box is a little bit broader, and then we have another new red box, still including the Amana Colonies. But this is the newest warning for the current storm as it's moving on into Linn County. We have this secondary warning right now. So a couple of various lines there. But still, Cedar Rapids, you are under a tornado warning. Though it looks like it has weakened, it could still spin back up and produce another tornado. So you want to seek shelter, lowest room of your home, most interior room of your home. Tornado warning active for Cedar Rapids, Iowa right now on Weather Nation. This is a storm that's moving into southwestern Linn County here. That is the Cedar Rapids County. So if you're in this region, you need to be seeking shelter immediately as we continue with this tornado warning. Previously confirmed, no longer have a visual on if the storm is on the ground or not, but we've also had a lot of lightning just over the last 10 minutes, about 20 strikes within this region. Also plenty of hail. You can notice here on the southern side of the storm, we do have an area of some pretty significant hail likely showing up on the radar. You can see that with the dark gray colors showing up here. So this is now warned for 1-inch diameter hail as well as a potential tornado with this storm. So taking a look at the velocities on the storm at the moment, not a whole lot of major signatures. We've seen much better signatures with this storm through its life cycle so far. You can see that just northeast of the Williamsburg area, very bright blue colors. That's an indication of very strong rotation. This is almost 5,000 feet into the air. Now the storm has significantly weakened as far as rotation is concerned, but this is still an area where we could see it regenerate and recreate another rotating center to the storm. So we've just had some of that trimmed away from parts of Iowa County, but still into parts of Johnson County. We have that tornado warning mainly though for Linn County here. So if you're anywhere along the Interstate 380 corridor, that's right here. This is I-380. This is Highway 30, US Highway 30, and then Highway 151 that goes from Fairfax right into the Cedar Rapids Metro. If you're anywhere within this area, you're seeing the intensity of this storm at its strongest at this very moment. We'll likely still see that continue over the next little while here. So this looks like the storm track, at least the scariest part of the storm, is starting to shift a little more towards the east rather than due northeast. So the Bertram area is likely to see the strongest portion of the storm. Cedar Rapids, the center, may just miss it. It's not exactly out of the warning though. You still want to be seeking shelter, lowest level of your home, most interior room of your home. If you think that's the closet, that's the bathroom, somewhere under the stairs, those are all very good places to be. If you're in the basement, that's an excellent place to be as well. Now, of course, you might not have a TV in that area, so download the Weather Nation app. You can live stream us on there. Just go onto your phone on Apple or Android devices. You can live stream us there as we continue with this tornado warning. We'll keep an eye on that as there are other things going on around the area. This is all part of a much larger system here across the upper Midwest that we've had developing over the last couple of days. You can see the center of that low pressure system is pretty much right there across eastern Iowa, where we've had that confirmed tornado warning with a lot of moisture coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. We even had the chance for some freezing drizzle out across the UP and southwestern parts of Minnesota, and that rain snow transition around the Duluth area. Up towards Bemidji is where we have some of the heavier snow falling at the moment, but Duluth looks like you're mostly in light rain showers to maybe transitioning over to some rain and some snow. And we've got a view from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. This looks like it would likely be along I-380 here. This, of course, is an area where we're seeing some of that heavy rain beginning to come through. You can see that very clearly here on radar. I-380, it's right here, just moving south from the Cedar Rapids area down towards Iowa City. If you're traveling or planning to travel along this area, if you're about to head out the door, give it about 15 minutes. We have an active tornado warning here in southern Linn County that's set to expire at 2:45. Of course, we're going to come back on the air at 2:40 to bring you some more information on this storm as it continues to evolve. Presently, the velocity signature has weakened, but there was a report from Cedar Rapids of a wall cloud, so seek shelter immediately in Cedar Rapids, Marion, Fairfax, and Ely. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, you're under a tornado warning at the moment. It looks like we're looking out towards Interstate 380. Traffic certainly slowing down around this region. Now, of course, I want to be very cautious when driving through tornado warnings or through hail or any severe weather. Never really a good idea to pull off to the side, because sometimes that can back up traffic and lead to more accidents. But still, being cautious is the number one rule here. Cedar Rapids itself, it looks like you're not quite within the main risk, although we do still see some broad rotation around your area. The stronger rotation looks to be developing a little bit farther south, and that's what we've had a new tornado warning just now issued for this area, still including the Cedar Rapids region. But this is a new warning here showing up out towards Springville, Martell, Marion, also still included in that. Bertram, you're pretty much dead center on that new tornado warning that has been issued. And again, that is up towards the Mount Vernon area as well. So taking a look at this region, I'm going to get some more of these highways out here. This is also still along Highway 151. That's this highway that comes out of Cedar Rapids up through the Springville area, and Highway 30 as well. Bertram, just there between the two, along, looks like that's also a section of Highway 151, a pretty popular highway around this area of the country. But this whole region under the threat for a tornado to potentially roll through. So you always want to be seeking shelter into your room, lowest room of your home. A basement is excellent. Bathrooms are very good. Usually any closets under a stairwell are going to be very sturdy too. So that's always a good place to be during a tornado warning. As mentioned before, you can download our Weather Nation app. You can stream us live on the app as we cover this ongoing tornado warning. This is set to expire at 3:15 p.m. The previous warning here is set to expire at 2:45. So some areas like Fairfax, really outside of the threat for this warning. Most of downtown Cedar Rapids and Hiawatha up towards the Linn Junction area, all likely outside of the main area of risk. But around Marion, the Checktown area, you definitely want to be cautious, as the storm could still have impacts to your region, especially downstream as we move into more rural regions there. Looking at a more broad view here, just over the last half hour, we've seen this storm. It was confirmed on the ground, and then recently we had a report from the National Weather Service coming in that there was a wall cloud sighted from the Cedar Rapids area, hence why we have continued that tornado warning. But this region here around the Quad Cities and up the I-380 metro corridor, all within the chance for seeing a potential tornado through the day today. This is that tornado potential from the Storm Prediction Center. This goes all the way down towards Burlington, Macomb, Peoria, Galesburg, Muscatine, Iowa City, Davenport, and many other areas here around eastern Iowa and western Illinois. So you want to be seeking further information right here on Weather Nation. We'll be bringing that to you throughout the afternoon. But also, just on a more broad view, we've got this whole area of a big low pressure system bringing rain and snow through parts of the Midwest. Thank you, Taban. We, of course, are continuing to follow this tornado warning that's just outside of the Cedar Rapids area here in eastern Iowa. This is mostly into Linn County at the moment. Looking a little closer here at this area of rotation that's been developing over the last 10 minutes. So we mentioned earlier that it was confirmed, basically at the top of the hour, it was a confirmed tornado just north of the Williamsburg area there. That's south of I-80. It has crossed I-80 and is now into Linn County, but it's redeveloped a new circulation, and we have had reports of a wall cloud sighting south of the Cedar Rapids area. This is about to cross over Highway 30. That's this horizontal line you see here, about to go up to the Highway 151 corridor. So if you're anywhere around the Bertram area or south, you want to be seeking shelter immediately, because this is likely going to produce a tornado. It could be on the ground at the moment. We're looking fairly high into the elevation of the storm here, so surface conditions might be slightly different, but still seeking shelter. Cedar Rapids, Iowa, under a tornado warning this afternoon here. We have had previous confirmation of it being on the ground. Recently, though, it has weakened, and the most latest information we've gotten as it has re-strengthened here right around the Highway 30 corridor, which is what you're seeing just down below me here. This is a view near the core of this thunderstorm. We're seeing this storm beginning to strengthen in its rotation. This is the zone that we're looking at, right where that green and red come into contact. That's where we're seeing the most intense rotation. We've had reports of a wall cloud sighting south of the Cedar Rapids area in this region here, and also a funnel cloud being developed, not quite reaching the contact to the ground, or couldn't be confirmed as on the ground. But Bertram, you want to be treating this very seriously at the moment. This is right at Highway 151 there, south of the Vernon View area. Seeking shelter, interior room, lowest room of your home or place of business. Anywhere, if you're in a mobile home park or neighborhood, you want to be seeking shelter in a sturdy structure outside of your home, as you want to have very strong walls between you and the outside. The most recent scans here showing up a little bit more broadly, but the thing is, we're looking at around 3,500 feet into the sky. The thing is, tornadoes are very low-level features, and we have plenty of moisture here that the clouds are very low as well. So those storms, that rotation can translate to the ground very easily, and sometimes it's not as abundantly clear on radar. Taking a look at some of the reports that we've seen just outside of the Williamsburg area, that was the tornado that touched down previously. That's what some of the spotters were pointing at earlier. So that's, of course, something that we want to keep an eye on, as this storm could reproduce sometimes. Usually whenever you have a thunderstorm that's already there, it can more easily reproduce a new tornado sometimes. So there in Linn County into also parts of Jones County, it looks like it's moving just southeast of the Cedar Rapids Central Metro there. So places like Marion, Hiawatha, South Cedar Rapids, not within this warning anymore, but anywhere east of Cedar Rapids, you want to be taking very seriously this thunderstorm. This is all part of an area where we could see further development of storms later on this afternoon. We're just seeing a few scattered showers north of the Quad Cities area, but we could still see thunderstorms developing in this region, though the dominant one is there around Cedar Rapids. Tornado warning in parts of Linn County, Iowa. This is outside of the Cedar Rapids area. So Cedar Rapids no longer within a warning, but we did have a tornado report here, you see, just north of the Williamsburg area. This is mile marker 223. A semi was blown over at that spot. Now, we've also had recent reports of funnel cloud activity around Ely and Bertram there. So along the Highway 30 corridor, you want to be seeking shelter, possibly a tornado on the way to your area. Looking at radar, recently we've seen some of the more intense rotation has spun down, but still we're getting reports of a wall cloud, which is sometimes a precursor to a tornado. Interior room, lowest level of your home is going to be the safest place to be. So put as many walls and floors between you and the outside as possible. We continue with severe weather coverage as an active tornado warning is just outside of the Cedar Rapids area here in eastern Iowa. We've got a view from Cedar Rapids of sort of the backside of this thunderstorm, very dark clouds, and notice how low they're sitting. Devon, does that look like a wall cloud to you? It may be a wall cloud there. So this is likely the base of the updraft, the rotating portion of the thunderstorm that usually can drop down a tornado very easily. So props to our producers for finding that camera view back behind the camera, of course. But looking a little bit closer, we can see that we've got some broad rotation. So when I say that, I mean we have this wide area of the green. This is moving towards the radar site that's just outside of Davenport towards the southeast here. And then the reds weakly moving away from the radar site. So here we have this area of counterclockwise rotation. and that can sometimes mean that we have a very broad updraft of the thunderstorm that's rotating. Now, whenever that consolidates into a very narrow area, just a few of these pixels wide, whenever we have bright green right next to bright red, that usually indicates a tornado is likely, if not happening. Now, recently, we've seen some of that broad rotation be a little tighter around the Bertram area. You can see right there, that's where we had some reports of a wall cloud south and even a funnel cloud south of the Cedar Rapids area, north of Ely there. And then if you go back even farther, this was actually a confirmed tornado just outside of the Williamsburg area. So notice the track of this storm. It's sort of taken a rightward turn as it's moved through this region. So basically following along a line like this. And that's going to be sort of, sometimes whenever we see supercells turning into the wind that's coming in from the south pretty much, that can sometimes lead to strengthening of the rotation. In this case, it doesn't look like it's been enough to keep it going. That's something we sometimes will see. So I've been keeping an eye out for any redevelopment of that that rotation. Fortunately, it looks like it's not moving in the direction of strengthening at the moment. We can sometimes see this recycle. So the next half hour, we really still need to keep our eyes open on this. Into parts of Jones County and Cedar County, the very northern edge of Cedar County there. Basically, if you're north of, I believe that's Highway 30 or south of Highway 151, and moving into Highway 64 out towards the Wyoming area. So just getting a look on the map here. So this is Highway 30 just to the south. Highway 151 turns north, and Highway 64 extends out to Wyoming. If you're anywhere between those highways, you want to be seeking shelter. This is getting into the more rural farmland of eastern Iowa as well, moving away from the population center of Cedar Rapids, Mount Vernon, Bertram, Springville, not really under the immediate threat anymore, but we'll continue to keep an eye on this storm through 3:30 Central Time. Moments ago, this was outside of Williamsburg, Iowa, where a tornado was reported. Looks like this is the wall cloud lowering, possibly developing into the tornado as we speak. You can see the motion of the clouds also trying to rotate around. All signs of a tornado that you want to be very cautious of when getting video. Of course, we appreciate it, but you always want to be very careful when in a tornado warning. Now, this did get confirmation just north of the Williamsburg area. It did have several reports as well of a semi was blown over just north of the Williamsburg area off of Interstate 80. I believe it was exit 223. But then also we've recently had a brief tornado report put in here from the area of Ely. That's south of the Cedar Rapids metro. You can clear that off at the moment and zoom in a little bit more. Of course, this is just right there around Highway 30, just before it crosses over the Cedar River. We'll put that report back on there. That's where we had that tornado report. It was very brief, but if we go back on velocities, we can actually see where that radar was showing the rotation. If we pull it back to right there, that's where we were looking at it for a couple of minutes of that greater rotation. Fortunately, we haven't seen quite as much of the rotation in recent scans, so that is some good news as it continues into parts of Cedar County and Jones County here. As we've seen, sort of the back edge of that tornado warning has been trimmed off. All good news, seeing that the storm is weakening. Looking back at the classic radar view, we still have some heavy hail possibly within the storm. That's the center of the storm. The pink colors you see, that's likely hail forming within the storm, as well as very heavy rain. So that could cause some very low visibility. It's moving into a very rural area here between Martell, Olin, the Mechanicsville area. So into southern parts of Jones County, as I said, that's where you want to be seeking shelter. This is anywhere south of the Highway 151 to Highway 64, I believe it is, area. So if you live anywhere between Highway 30 and Highway 64 here, you want to be seeking shelter at the moment. Now, this isn't the only spot in the country where we have active weather. It's the only where we have severe weather at the moment. But looking out a little more broadly here across the area, you can actually see on the national radar view, that's right at the center of a low pressure system here across the upper Midwest. That's bringing the chance for the tornadoes here at the moment. Right there near the core of that storm, of this large storm, is where we have some of that. And as the sun is going down, we're losing some of the visible satellite imagery of this storm system, but you can clearly tell just over the last couple of hours, the center of this low pressure system has been moving sort of towards the northeast, up past the Waterloo, Cedar Rapids area. Of course, this is where we had that tornado warning that has gone from parts of the Williamsburg area, south of Cedar Rapids, into parts of Jones County. I'll take you into the radar at this moment, see what is going on with the actual thunderstorm, as it has weakened significantly here in southern Jones County, northern Cedar County, but we still have an active tornado warning until 3:30. We'll bring you information as we have it. 2 total strikes of lightning in the last 10 minutes here with this storm complex that we've seen develop over the last couple of hours this afternoon. If you're just joining us here on Weather Nation at 40 past the hour of 3 o'clock Central Time, we had a tornado warning, a series of tornado warnings through the Cedar Rapids area. Cedar Rapids did not experience a tornado, fortunately. We did have a few reports of one outside of the Williamsburg area. That's right here around the I-80 corridor. There was another report around the Ely area. And then as it was leaving Linn County into Jones County, there's a report of a funnel cloud as well. So fortunate that things have quieted down now. We're not seeing any more further activity with this complex of thunderstorms. Let's just loop this over the last hour here. You can see where we had a lot of lightning with that storm. We'll clear that off so you can see it a little more clearly. And let's just look over the last hour and a half here as we had that storm confirmed there into parts of, let's see here, that was Iowa County, then moving into Linn County and eventually into Jones County, sort of taking that right turn. But it's weakened significantly, and that is some good news. This is right in the middle of a low pressure system that's developed over the last couple of days here, bringing some rain across the Great Lakes and upper Midwest and some snow across some of the northern parts of the plains and upper Midwest as well. This whole complex of rain is part of a low pressure system, but we have another one that's developing in the lee of the Colorado Rockies in the next couple of days.